This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. For the next hour, my goal in life is to change the way you think about things. For the next hour, I want my rants and my opinions to broaden your horizon. Now, the phone lines are down for today, but to get into contact with me, I promise you, I'm a man of my words. It's not hard. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio, and if you're listening via the Hoppe Radio app, you can chat me there. And if you don't have the Hoppe Radio app, chat me there and download it. And if you're not friends with me on Facebook, either way, you can watch the Hoppe TV version of the show by going to my public Facebook, and that will be up on YouTube later on. Oh, yeah, you like this pump-up music? Woo! Hey, what up, Jeff? How are you, dude? How is everything going?
It's going pretty good, man. I can't complain.
It's going to be a different vibe having a show because you're the board op / co-host as well. Because when we had Mel here, it was all about me and my girlfriend, Melissa. But whenever you want to chime in, let me know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, we have so much to get into. I love this guy, David Mueller. If you're watching Hoppe TV, it's that dude. The one that grabbed, supposedly, allegedly, Swift's ass at a meet and greet after a country music show. I love this guy because...
Grabbed his butt?
Grabbed her butt.
Her butt.
All right. You didn't know that?
I didn't know
This radio DJ from Denver, David Mueller, allegedly grabbed Swift's butt after a concert.
Nice.
And here's the thing. Before I even get to the article, here's the funny part about this guy. Is when you look at pictures of David Mueller, he looks like that macho man that would brag about doing CrossFit and thought that he was the best in the room and was probably a local radio guy in Denver. Like, everybody knew who David Mueller was, and it got to his head. Because there's nobody in their right mind, Jeff, that would ever go, you know what? At a meet and greet, when I'm with one of the most powerful singers in the music business, not just in the music business, but in the entertainment business, I'm going to grab Taylor Swift's ass. Sounds like a great idea. Nothing would come of that. A girl that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm just going to grab her ass. Yeah, I make probably $400,000 a year, if that. But yeah, I'm going to grab a girl whose net worth is $200 million. There's not going to be any legal repercussions.
She probably liked it.
I'm going to tweet out the picture later at Ryan Hoppe Radio on Twitter. It is so awkward. You can tell she's like, ooh, what's going on here? All right, this is from the New York Times. David Mueller, DJ accused of groping her, says, and I quote, you ready? She ruined my reputation, which is the definition of a narcissist, when it's everybody else's fault. No. You ruined your reputation, you dummy, by grabbing one of the most famous singers in this world's butt. She didn't say, can you do it? And then you grabbed it, and then she claimed that she didn't want you to do it. You literally did it to her. You're the reason that you're a joke in radio. You're a reason that you've burned a bridge in this business. Nobody put a gun to your head, David Mueller, and was like, you literally have to grab her butt or you're going to die. Maybe somebody placed a bet with you and was like, I dare you to grab her butt. But nobody put their life on the line for you. Nobody said you need to do this or else. I mean, come on, man. It's all your fault. Shut up. The former DJ accused of groping Swift in Denver was in federal court on Tuesday, saying that he never touched her inappropriately, even though in the picture they're posing and her hand's like here, and you can see his hand like down there. Like you can just see he's doing something.
Right.
And I love any of these guys who try to like apologize for him. They're like, well, that's not complete proof that he did it. Come on. She wouldn't go to all this length and all these court fees and all this drama of the last half a decade, basically, if it wasn't for nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a very humiliating experience to be accused of something that despicable. Yeah, it is humiliating when you grab a famous girl's butt. It is humiliating when you think that's a good idea. Now, who knows? Maybe he'll be found innocent in court somehow. But I'm just saying, we pretty much know that David Mueller did it, but we're just afraid to completely admit to it. I mean, come on. It's nobody else's fault but your own. Now listen. Let's say you guys had sex. David Mueller, even though when you look at him, he's not very handsome and he's obviously out of her league. But let's say David Mueller had sex with Swift and then the pictures got released. That would be humiliating. 2 years ago on Reddit, when the fappening happened and all those pictures got released and you saw Jennifer Lawrence and it looked like she had canned tuna on her face.
Canned tuna?
And you had all these dirty pictures out there. You know what I mean. It wasn't actually canned tuna. You know what I'm saying? When you had all these dirty pictures out there, that was humiliating because a hacker went in and got all their pictures. David Mueller, you doing this with your own power of your mind and your own decision-making, good riddance, sir. Shut up. That's what I'm saying. What do you think, Jeff?
You just ripped a piece of paper. I'm impressed.
Oh, yeah, I got muscles. Getting ready for that Mike Count to punch out number 3. Woo! What do you think, though? Like, this guy playing the whole pity card saying, oh, feel bad for me.
I don't know. I don't know. The celebrity stuff, I don't get it. I mean, I
usually don't ever talk about it, but I'm saying to you, if she's going 4 years of her life going against this guy, because this happened in 2013, 4 years ago.
Right.
Something happened. It wasn't like it got paid on the side. She's literally trying to show a precedent because she's a feminist. She's proud of being a female, as she should. I don't care.
Right.
But I'm just saying she's not going to let the man win. She's doing this for a reason. Just saying. Also in the news, quite a transition. Another teacher is going to jail or prison for having sex with a kid.
Crazy.
Now, Jeff, before we get into the article, you're a father, but
yeah.
I want to give you my take. When I first was a teenager, I had no chance to ever get with any girls. Like, I just was awkward. I was fat. I'm very awkward now, but it was in a worse way. It wasn't in a likable way. It was in a creepy way. Like, for example, I told this girl that I liked, I said, I would treat you like a princess. Not creepy or anything. So I had no chance really to get any of the cheerleaders or any of the girls overall. But the teachers, of course, are nice to you.
Right.
So in my mind, I was like, ooh, I think this teacher likes me. So I would like fantasize about wanting to bang teachers, and that became my go-to porn category. It's
Let me ask you, did you ever look at the yearbooks and do that, take care of business?
I'd be lying if I said no. I'm embarrassed, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't ever. Because the worst part was, this is so embarrassing. The worst part about the matter was I didn't have internet in my room. The issue was I got caught. Not corn. I just mixed two words. I got caught having like 2 Lisa Ann videos, like 5-minute clips on my computer, like maybe in 2008. So my dad just removed my hard drive. I had
literally
gigabytes. Yeah, literally remove my hard drive. I had gigabytes of podcasts. I had shows I was doing in 2007 that I would love to listen to now. But no. He just wiped my hard drive because of 2 videos. God damn it, Dad. But what I'm saying is, I literally always had the fantasy about wanting to bang the teacher. But now that I'm 23, going to be 24 in like 22 days, not that I'm counting. I don't want to get old.
You should look them up. You should look up those teachers. Whether
they're all married now.
They're all in their 40s now?
They're all like in their 30s because they were like 24 when I was in class like 7, 8 years ago. But here's what I'm saying. Back then, I was all about, I want to bang them. I want to bang them. I want to bang them. Oh, I would love to get help with some math homework and then get a BJ from them. I'd love it. I'd be great. Now that I'm 23, going to be 24, and I'm settled down now, and you're a father with kids, you look at it and you go, it's a double precedent because if this was a guy teacher, we would crucify him and we'd find it creepy. But there is something mentally wrong with these hot teachers when they're having sex with kids. They literally have the same mindset as a pedophile, but we kind of give it a pass because as kids, if we had a hot teacher, we wanted to bang them, and it's so prominent on porn sites that we think it's normal. But just because these girls are good looking and they're likable, they're pedophiles too. I'm sorry.
Right.
You're having sex with underage kids. You should go away. Everyone's like, oh, but it's not that bad. You gave the kid a fun time.
It's not bad for the kids.
They'll go, it's not that bad. You gave the kids a good time. But you're mentally messing with them because they're kids.
Yeah, they're kids. Yeah, there's no question about that.
What would happen if you found out about one of your kids' friends or anybody? What would you do?
What are you talking about, like one of my sons or my daughter? My daughter, I'd go crazy.
What about if it was your son, too? Like, just how would you react as a parent? Because I think I'd be furious. I don't think I'd be happy at my kid. I think I'd be angry.
I don't know how I would react. I'd probably be angry, but at the same time, like my son, if that happened to my son, anyway, it was like 16 or 17. What was the age? What was the ages?
These were teens, 14 and 15.
Okay, yeah, I'd be a little angry.
Ooh, she's having oral sex with the 15-year-old in the classroom. You're just asking to get caught. And the thing is, too, with social media and everything being literally on our phone. Like, my girlfriend dropped her phone 2 days ago, and literally everything was gone for her. Like, we literally had to get it fixed that night, or she would have had nothing to do. Everything is on your phone. I don't get any of these teachers that think they're not going to get caught in 2017, going on 2018, when you're having sex with these kids. Maybe in the 90s when you had a lack of access to the internet and it seemed like things kind of went to the side more. I'm not saying it would make sense, but you go, you're not going to get as caught.
Right.
There's a less chance of you getting caught. But with social media and it being one of the top categories on Pornhub and it's just being so prominent, you're going to get caught. Kids are going to talk about it. They're going to take a Snapchat of them sweaty, leaving your classroom going,
of course they are.
Mrs. Johnson just went down on me. Like, there's no chance in hell they're going to be quiet.
Mrs. Johnson just took the Johnson.
They have all the water emojis, water splash. Have a little pickle or whatever that thing is. The
little dancing hot dog.
She just made my hot dog dance.
Could you? Do you think that? Never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. No, it's just like if they did that. I mean, that little hot dog thing on Instagram. Do you think they'd film that and have a little hot dog dancing?
I bet that's happened. I bet it's happened already. Or I bet even if it's not a teacher-kid relationship, I bet it's some relationship where they've literally been quote-unquote millennials and not just had normal sex. They go, we need to get the hot dog perfectly as if we're doing a POV. I'm trying to keep this clean. But with a POV, you're on all four, and we're going to have the dancing hot dog going up and down like it's on like it's trying to bike up a hill. I love how I said, I'm not going to be dirty, and then I basically said it.
Hey, like, you're a show, man. Do whatever.
Also in the news. Okay. FDA to crack down on e-cigarette use amongst young people. I despise the e-cig. There is nothing about the e-cig that I like. It is the douchiest thing of all time. I hate when you're at like an airport bar. I don't even think you can smoke in an airport bar. But you know what I'm saying? Like classy bar. And you're having a good time, and all of a sudden you smell that like cherry nicotine or grape flavored, and it's just some douchebag like smoking e-cig right in your face. He's like, sup, brah? How are you, man? Ugh. Like, I despise the e-cig. And I love when people are like, well, it's better for you than cigarettes or cigars. Yeah, it's not good for you. It'll probably cause you to go into the ground sooner. Like, it's not like it's good for you. Like, nothing's really good for you. No type of smoking's good for you. I love when they go, well, and I'm not against weed, but they're going, well, weed's better for you than cigarettes and alcohol. It doesn't mean it's good for you. You're smoking a plant into your lungs and you're coughing. Like, none of it's good for you. So I love when these people go, but I'm doing it the all natural way. Like,
all natural.
Oh, yeah. The FDA has announced plans for an education campaign to discourage young people from using it, which actually is an awful idea.
Yeah.
Because when you tell the kids not to do it, they're going, why are they saying to me not to do it? And then they end up doing it. So just ignore e-cigarettes if you want it to go away. Because if you give all the attention to it, kids are going to want to smoke it to rebel. Kind of like when my dad would block the local channel Fox so I couldn't watch Family Guy, I would find a way to watch Family Guy online. It's the same thing with the e-cigs. If you keep telling kids not to drink, not to smoke, not to do e-cigs, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
If you have Officer Friendly come in with the DARE program that really worked, you literally are just saying to the kids, it's fun.
Yeah.
Because they're going to end up doing it anyway. The plan comes hot on the heels of the agency's proposal last month to lower nicotine levels in cigarettes. Yeah, have fun with that. Have fun trying to tell these cigarette companies, I know you're making so much money off of people that are buying your product and prices are high, but can you take less of the potent nicotine and all the rat poison in there and everything you put in, and not put in as much for us, we'd greatly appreciate that. And the cigarette companies, Marlboro, everyone's going to be like, you know what? Food and drug, I'm going to do that for you. Because we just love that you're cracking down on us making money. Of course, FDA. No. It's not going to work like that.
No, absolutely not.
I'm not saying it's a waste of money. But at some point, we need to quit trying to prevent like cigarette companies from doing their thing. Because it just makes them want to do it even more. Just have TV ads all the time of the people smoking out of their neck with the voice box.
Blah, 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 blah.
And then talk about having the reasons of why it's bad and have them go to class. But when you have the FDA trying to shut down these cigarette companies, it's just giving them more fuel to the fire. E-cigarettes have been hailed as a safer product that may discourage kids from smoking tobacco products. I mean, yeah, but like I said, it's not good for you. However, many public health advocates warn that the vaping devices could be a slippery slope, that it attracts young kids to nicotine flavors that are tasty, it says. Okay, that's the thing, too. Is when you go to the mall, you go by all the kiosks. You'll see one to get a bunch of drones. You'll see one to get your phone fixed. You'll see let's say a Verizon wireless kiosk. And then you'll see the e-cig, and they have it all fancy, and it's like a guy from the Middle East that's making bank off of it. And they have cherry, grape, bubblegum, all these different flavors. And it looks so pretty to the kid because they'll have a little decoration, and it's like a little cartoon of a red cherry, and it looks so inviting. It's like you're eating cherry candy, like you're eating cherry nerds. It's the same thing.
Right.
So you're literally never going to take anything out of this. I'm not saying it's a waste of time to try and prevent these companies from doing their things. I'm just saying, I think the resource, if you really want to prevent cigarette use, and you really want to prevent kids from doing nicotine and all this, begin having billboards of before I smoked cigarettes and then afterwards. Or you have a billboard that says average life range, and let's say a guy lives to be 70, but it goes smoking a pack every day, 55. Have facts that make the kids nervous and that make them frightened. But when you try to prevent the kids from smoking, and you try to prevent the companies from doing their thing, Jeff, you see where I'm coming from. You're not doing anything important.
Right.
You see where I'm coming from?
Absolutely.
Have you ever smoked cigarettes or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to smoke in my 20s Marlboro Reds, a hard pack.
What did you think?
It was good stuff, my man. I mean, what do you think? It was very hard to get off that stuff. I guess it was all the rat poisoning. Yeah, I don't know, but it was very, very good stuff, and it was very hard to get off of.
We have a lot of Facebook comments. Glick Chris said, "I am handsome." Thank you to Beth, who did an IQ test for me when I was on Rover's Morning Glory in Cleveland.
Yeah,
and I came into a 95. She says hi. Kendra, who listens out of St. Louis when I interviewed Rizzuto and all the top morning shows there. She says hi. Ryan chimes in. It was hilarious hearing Rover's Morning Glory make fun of your photo shoot the other day. Yeah, I heard about that. Interesting radio. Really well thought out. Also, Kevin says, where am I recording out of? This is the Jeff Adams Show headquarters here in beautiful Lakeland, Florida. I am the co-host of the Jeff Adams Show, along with Jeff Adams and today his very lovely girlfriend. And to check that out, where can they find your show? Like, where the hell is it at? It's everywhere, literally.
On Facebook, TJS New Media, and you can go to jeffadamshow.tv. There you go. Walla, walla boom, walla bing.
Also in the news, King of the Hill's coming back. Woo!
Bobby.
Did you like King of the Hill?
I freaking loved King of the Hill.
Oh, so good. Anybody that says they didn't find it funny doesn't have the attention span to listen to its wit and likes fart jokes like Family Guy. King of the Hill was one of those shows where you didn't appreciate it until it was taken off, and then you're like, no, dang it, Bobby, come back.
So is the premise still going to be the same? What did they say about what's it going to be?
Okay, we can't even get our hopes up this much, but it's from Variety.com. Fox in preliminary conversations to revive King of the Hill. It says here, from The X-Files, which should not have been brought back, to 24, Legacy, which should not have been brought back, to Prison Break, which should not have been brought back. Fox has swung 0 for 3 in the business of reviving beloved series. And I think King of the Hill would be the first one because it's done by Mike Judge, and I think they would put a lot of work into it.
Is he coming back?
Yeah.
Okay, then it'll win. It'll win.
Because the issue was Prison Break ended. Michael died. That was it. 24. Oh, wow.
Bobby?
He got a lot done in 24 hours. Good for him. And the X-Files, you've literally had like 10 years of it and all these movies. There's no reason to bring it back. Hollywood is losing ideas by bringing all these things back. Hollywood is losing ideas by just bringing everything back. But, let me finish. King of the Hill, if done right by Greg Daniels and Mike Judge, the creative genius is Mike Judge. If they do everything right, this will be a smash hit. I hope it's on for 5 to 6 more years because I've missed King of the Hill. I think this will be the first time that bringing something back will be good. You agree with me?
I agree with you. And that's the thing I was just going to say is like your point is just like it's a freaking cartoon. How can you miss it? I mean, because when you're dealing with like real actors and stuff, the visuals, when the shows come back, it's not the same, but it's a cartoon.
Here's what's sad, though, and here's what I think they would need to address in the first episode. Mike Judge, if for some reason you're listening to Hoppe Hour right now, I'm a huge fan of your work. I love Idiocracy, Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, Good Family, Office Space. To make King of the Hill great again, you have to address the fact that Brittany Murphy, who played the voice of Luann, died like 7 or 8 years ago. And you can't bring Luann back.
Right.
It would be weird if you brought Luann back because Brittany Murphy did such a great job the 12 years it was on of voicing Luann that I know Luann was a beloved character and she was hilarious.
Right.
But you have to address the fact that Murphy died because, number one, in King of the Hill, every character got older. That's what was brilliant about it, was it's not like The Simpsons, where Bart Simpson's been in 4th grade since 1987.
It's crazy.
Literally, you've seen everybody grow up over the years, and that's what I loved about King of the Hill.
Hey, Dad, am I still going to talk like this?
Who was your favorite character on King of the Hill?
Well, I had a lot of favorite characters, but my favorite was Selling Propane.
Really?
No, I liked
Bill. Bill is funny. My favorite episode of King of the Hill is when Bill, for some reason, becomes a cross-dresser and he begins cutting hair.
Yeah, I mean, how did he talk?
Oh, wait, no. He didn't become a cross-dresser. I think he pretended he was gay so that he could fit in at this hair-cutting place. And he's like, I like to cut your hair. And it was so over the top, and they were making fun of the gay voice. I don't know if they could do it now because everybody would be up in arms, but that was some funny TV when they had Bill pretending he was gay or he was a girl. I forget which one. Either way, it was hilarious. I have a memory of me and my dad watching it and laughing our asses off. Speaking of the category on this podcast of TV shows, what was your take? Like, first of all, before I even get into it, I want to ask you, did you like late night TV? Like, are you into like late night talk shows?
I think I was at one time.
Like, what was your go-to late night show throughout your life?
You're going to show my age. I mean, I remember watching David Letterman when he was after Johnny Carson, and that was phenomenal.
I wasn't alive for Johnny Carson, but there's a YouTube site that has every Johnny Carson interview.
I know.
They're short, but I also, when Movie Shop was open, before I went out of business, I bought like a DVD of Johnny Carson for like $5, and it's got hours of content. And, dude, he would hold up now. Jack Parr wouldn't hold up.
No.
And all those guys wouldn't hold up. But literally, Johnny Carson would do amazing now. He would kill it on Netflix. Like, Johnny Carson is timeless. Like, in the year 2090, people are going to be like, this guy was out 150 years ago. Like, Johnny Carson, legit, if you want to go into radio or TV or movies, Johnny Carson is the guy you should not copy, but see how he does it. He was so brilliant.
That is wild. I did not know that.
That actually wasn't a bad Johnny Carson. But did you like David Letterman? Did you like him when he was after Johnny Carson? And did you like him when he went to CBS and never got to replace Leno?
I liked him when he was at CBS. He had like this swag about him. And then when he got a little bit older, I think he just got, after all that stuff he had that go on with his wife when he was cheating.
I think the intern thing was kind of the downfall of Letterman. Yeah. I think everybody loved Letterman because it's Letterman and he's a legend and he's very talented and he's brilliant and funny. I'm not trying to SSD. I'm just saying he's great. But what I'm saying to you guys is the fact that I think with all those issues, that was like in 2009, 2010, I think that was kind of when people were like,
yeah.
And then what was weird too is when he had Joaquin Phoenix pretending he was crazy, and then Joaquin Phoenix came out and said that he wasn't doing it and that it was all fake.
Or he's going to be a rapper. That's when he was saying he was going to be a rapper. And stuff.
And then Letterman was probably in on it. Let's be honest here. Letterman had to be in on it.
No, the crazy thing about Letterman, what I heard was he never really interacted with his guests. I mean, he had to to show people that come in and prep.
So do you truly believe he would know?
He may not have known because he was so anti meeting with anybody before the show.
That's how radio is. When I worked for Rover up in Cleveland, the one good thing he did was he didn't want to hear anything. They would be like, "Oh, Hoppy had a crazy weekend," or "Jeffrey had a crazy weekend," and he'd be like, "Save it for air." Any good radio host, you save it for the air.
Absolutely.
But it says here, David Letterman is going to host a Netflix interview series. And I think this sounds great. Because I think this will allow him to be unfiltered. You don't have TV commercials. And one of the interviews he wants to do is with Kim Jong-un.
Well, what is that? What is that going to look like? Is it still going to be like the talk show format? Is he going to try to do something new? Like when Seinfeld came out with comedians in cars getting coffee, that was a really cool concept because he was doing what he does, make people laugh, driving around, interviewing people in cars. But it's like, is David going to do something different than the same format of everybody else with this new talk show?
I think he has a huge opportunity to make this really good or to make this crap. I think there's no in between.
Do you think he cares at this point? Do you think he's really going to have creative control? He's really going to care at this point in his life?
A part of me wonders if he's doing this because he misses doing it, but he wants to do it on his own terms. I wonder if being clean and being formatted by CBS and having to do a monologue, a part of me wonders if he's wanting to do his own thing. The same thing with Craig Ferguson. Right now he's doing his own talk show on Sirius XM, and it's just Craig Ferguson unfiltered, and it sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
And a part of me wonders if he's just wanting to do this to try something out. I think he's going to put in effort, because to me, if David Letterman went in and sucked, that wouldn't ruin his legacy because he's done so much in the media business, but it would kind of put a weird part about it. To bring it to basketball, Phil Jackson, great coach for the Bulls.
Yeah.
Great coach for the Lakers. He has 11 rings altogether. He was undefeated with Jordan when they went to the finals. He won 5 for 7 in the finals, or 5 for 6, whatever, with the Lakers. Was regarded as the best coach of all time. He moved to Montana in his mansion, never to be heard from again. But then he became the head president of the Knicks last year and was an abomination and did literally everything wrong and then either quit or got fired. And now whenever you think of Phil Jackson, you think about what he did to the Knicks. So the same thing goes with David Letterman, where if this Netflix show gets promoted and it's got banners, you go on Netflix and it says, add this to my list, watch this, and they promote the hell out of it, and then it's absolute crap, then that's going to hurt Letterman's legacy.
Is he going to bring back Paul?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be a one-on-one interview series.
Interesting.
A lot of potential. You like that radio sound effect of me crumping up the paper into the microphone?
Just like Letterman.
Also in the news, we've had quite the transition of topics. This next one's going to be a little bit deep because we talked about everything going on with e-cigarettes and David Mueller, the creepy DJ that touched Swift's ass. We talked about David Letterman, King of the Hill. This next one is a little bit harsh. This is from Huffington Post. UCF kid taken in another man's sought after rape during a fraternity party, cops say. A fraternity member at the University of Central Florida was taken in Monday after police say a woman was raped during a party in July. UCF police say the incident happened last month when the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity had a New Year's in July party. Before I even get into anything about this and this whole despicable thing, you know you're a douchebag frat, and you know you're full of imbeciles when you're having a New Year's in July party. It's not a New Year's. I got the whole Christmas in July thing.
Yeah.
That's cute. But, it makes no sense. Why would you have a New Year's and July party? It seems like it's just a reason to party during the summer because you have nothing going on when you visit home in the suburbs because you don't like being around your parents, so you want to find a reason to party and take advantage of girls. So let's have New Year's in July.
But when's the China's New Year? Don't they celebrate it later than we do? When's China's New Year?
I think it's in like the fall or spring. I think it's like in the spring.
Okay.
But I don't think that's what they're basing it off of. Because if they wanted to, they would say, Happy Chinese New Year's, and they'd be very offensive. Because all these frats are full of these alpha, mega, like douchebags. All these guys, I think they're great because they put beer up their butt, and they work out, bro, and they talk about it, and they're great, and they bang all the girls, and they have a list. Kind of like when you go to a car shop or a Sprint shop and you see who can get the most sales. I've heard tales about they'll have like a tally and they'll be like, Jeff got head from 7 girls this week, or he banged 5 girls, and they keep a tally. Yeah. That's the type of environment we're dealing with. Like this guy, Alexander Garcias, faces charges of sexual battery and kidnap and false imprisonment. Police are also looking for a second person.
Wow.
All right, here's what happened. They were hanging out with another member of the fraternity, but they ended up getting separated, and they took her to another room with another man. They said she felt comfortable because of her past friendship with the man and went into a bedroom on the second floor. The woman said Gracias turned on music as the second man locked the door. She said Garcias forced her to the ground to perform a sex act on him, which I would assume is oral. Adding she thought if she did it, that she would be able to leave and nothing more would happen. So basically she's drunk and she's like, fine, I'll do the deed and then we'll move on. But then the second man is accused of forcing the woman onto the bed, pinning her down and raping her. She began to scream, but the man then, because he's a piece of crap, almost swore, covered her mouth and then used the other hand and wrapped it around her throat. The woman told police that she ran out of the room and tried to find one of her friends. She was sobbing and crying and spoke with another guest after the party because she was looking for a friend. And they have footage from a security camera that shows exactly what happened. Not completely, but everything she says leading up to that moment in the room, everything goes up in a security camera, so they have proof that she's not lying. And they say she's been saying the same tale every time. Here's my thing. If you're one of these dirtbags at a fraternity and you're taking advantage of a girl, whatever the maximum sentence is should be given to him immediately. If it's 10 years, if it's 5 years, whatever it is, give it to him, no parole, nothing. Because if he has the audacity to take advantage of an innocent woman for his own sexual needs because he's a creep, then he has no reason to be out in public.
Right.
He's adding nothing to society if he thinks it's cool to take advantage of a woman. He's literally adding nothing to this world. Now, it's not like the he said, she said one, because I do believe sometimes, I hate saying it, I do believe sometimes the girls kind of make it up on the fly if they have money. I do think a lot of times these professional athletes put themselves in bad situations, and they're not innocent, but they're also not completely guilty. But in matters like this, she was completely taken advantage of. And anybody who's going to play the card of, well, why did you go up with 2 guys in one room? Number one, probably because she was drunk. And number 2, because nobody ever thinks you're going to get raped. Right. I hate that whole thing where we slut shame the girls. And we go, yeah, quit wearing the short shorts and looking hot.
Right.
You're causing yourself to get raped. Quit putting on makeup and being flirtatious at parties. You're causing yourself to get raped. You're putting yourself in that situation for it to happen.
Right.
That's just the most male alpha douchebag thing to say. Like, we need to begin really putting a precedent on these rapists because they're creeps.
Right.
If it was a 50-year-old, then we would completely crucify them. But I feel like we have this thing in America where we go, oh, he's 22. He's a young millennial trying to figure out the world. he didn't know what he was doing when he unbuckled his pants. And I won't give the play-by-play, but he did everything.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
He's just a kid, Oops. I didn't mean to force her, pin her to the bed, make her scream and cry, and slap her across the face and choke her. Oops. Didn't mean to cover her mouth. That was just an accident. Sorry. Like, you know what an accident during sex is? When it goes into the wrong hole. That's an accident.
Hey!
Oops.
Hey!
But when you're doing the play-by-play, there's no way of finding you innocent, dude.
No, there's not.
There's no way of defending you. So I hope they get the maximum sentence. And honestly, people are going to say, well, I wonder what the parents are going to say about this. They're going to be so embarrassed. The reason this happened is because he probably has awful parents. I don't think that this guy has great parents. Maybe it's just me. Hey,
What do you think? What do you think he did when he was growing up? He didn't have parents. He just watched Pornhub all the time, and he figured out this is appropriate, or what?
I think his dad probably abused him, so he needs approval. So he thinks because he was abused, it's okay to abuse other people. And I think his mom probably either slept with different guys, or was a dancer, or was just a weird mom that ignored him, because it just kind of seems like there's something fishy in the water. Heck, maybe it's just me. Maybe he comes from amazing parents. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, I got an idea about it. All right, let's see what else is going on in the news here. First of all, I want to look at Facebook comments, because that's what you like to do. We don't have the phone lines today, but I want to hear from you guys. I love to hear what people are saying. Man, this guy, Shannon Rose, is really into the show. He's chiming in a lot. I appreciate it. Also, Michael Morris said, how about a new Spider-Man movie? Because we were talking about when they make new movies. Did you see the latest Spider-Man?
No, I didn't.
So my girlfriend was really hyper that day, and she drank a bunch of caffeine because she came from working all day. So we went to see the movie at Cobb's in St. Petersburg, and she was too hyper to focus, but I didn't even like it anyway. It was a pretty bad movie. I heard it got really political, had a lot of propaganda.
Really?
But, man.
Spider-Man.
It's sad when good old Netflix has better Marvel content than the movies, like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Daredevil. Iron Fist was terrible, but I can't wait for the Defenders. But what I'm saying is, it seems like the better content isn't in the movie theaters anymore.
I posted something on Facebook that about AMC theaters, like their stock plummeted, and I go, what does that say? I mean, the movies are not doing as well as they used to. I mean, because everybody's like,
it's so expensive.
It is.
Like, if you guys, AMC movie theaters, Cobb's, any of these movie chains, any of the local mom and pop shops, if you want to have a chance to survive and not become the mall where you have abandoned movie theaters, what you need to do is lower your prices. You're not impressing anybody by having a large box of popcorn for $9.55 and a large Slurpee for about $6-7 when you're paying $16 for 2 items, when you can go to Wawa and get a ton of items for $16.
Right.
You can get a lot of food for $16 at Wawa. You could get a hoagie, you could get chips, you could get a large Slurpee, and that'd be like $11.
Right.
Then you can get $5 for gas. You literally can get whatever you want at Wawa. These movie theaters are so high and mighty on having expensive prices. Like, I remember I went to a movie theater, and I wanted to get wine. Because I wanted to just get a little
wine.
I wanted to
drink wine.
I wanted to get a little bit buzzed. Mel drove. I didn't drive. I never drink and drive. But I remember I was thinking, I want to get a little bit buzzed. Because we were watching the latest Amy Schumer movie. Not Trainwreck, but the other one. And it was terrible. And I said, give me your biggest glass of wine that you have. Because they didn't have the prices up. Now, if you're watching Hoppe TV, I'm drinking this beer. It was probably half of this. And it was like the same size. $14.
What was it, red or white?
It was a fancy type. I forget what it was. I think it was red.
He said, I want the biggest wine you have. You don't even know what it was.
No,
they could have gave you water.
No. I think it was red wine. It was really bitter, which is what I like.
All right. Merlot?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm not even just saying that just trying to fit in and move on. It was Merlot. I remember saying, I want some Merlot, your biggest glass. And I was like, $14. I was like, you can get 3 wine bottles for $14 at Aldi's.
That's probably the cheapest wine they had too.
And
buy the whole bottle for $14 or probably $7.99.
Have you seen those YouTube videos? Is what I'm trying to say. God damn it, with my speech impediment. Have you seen those videos where they have different wine bottles?
Yeah.
And one's 14, one's 140, and one's 1400. And the ones that are like $14 taste the same as the ones that are 1400. Sometimes the ones that are expensive taste different, but most of the time it's the same. It's all the same crap.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm not a wine expert, but
I'm not saying I am either. But I've been watching these videos on YouTube. Just saying.
Also, okay. You're the wine expert now. You're going to move to Napa Valley. You're
I
going to
like
move to Napa
drinking
Valley.
wine. Don't hate at me. I like drinking wine, dude.
All right.
Looking at all this prep I have over here. Anything else I want to talk about? I'm saving this for the air tomorrow. I'm going on the BDRS on 102.5 The Bone from 7 to 10 p.m. And at the end of the show, they do something called Hoppe Hates, where they let me rant for a minute about something. It's going to be about guys like LeVar Ball and Robert Horry and LeBron James.
How can you talk about that here, man? That's good stuff.
Having
I like
tantrums. Do you want me to talk about it now?
You can if you want. I'm just saying, you're talking about all this stuff. I'm more of a basketball guy, so I could interject a little bit more on basketball.
That's actually a really good point. Now, we'll talk about it. Because I was low-key trying to see if you'd want to talk about it. I wasn't sure if you would. What do you think? Now, do your kids play sports at all?
Yeah, absolutely they do.
Are there any of those dads that live too much through the kids?
Oh yeah, I a couple years back, my son was playing basketball and my daughter, and I had this one guy get in my face because I had these two kids, and the politically correct system of sports with kids these days is you cannot bench your players. Everybody has to play free time. But I had these two kids on my team that were really good, and they would pass the ball to each other. As much as said, "Hey, pass the ball," I couldn't bench them, and this guy got on my face, and he said, "You need to play my son." Blah blah blah. I said, "Your son's playing." He goes, "We need to pass him the ball. These kids are getting on my nerves." I said, "Dude, there's nothing I can do about this. Get out of my face." And sports are just absolutely, and that's when I stopped coaching. I said, I don't get paid to do this, and I'm getting harassed by over-the-top parents that are getting in my face.
Because you know what's sad is when these dads that are famous, like nobody knows who you were talking about, but these dads like Mike Bibby and Robert Horry and LeBron James, and that guy LeVar Ball, like here, Robert Horry punched somebody at his son's AAU tournament.
Mr. Three-Pointer, clutch, Robert Horry?
Robert Horry, the 46-year-old man with more NBA rings than Jordan, he has 7, threw some haymakers at a father. They said that the man was from the opposing team and was heckling him. Well, be the bigger man. Number one, you had some of the most clutch three-pointers of all time. So you have that going for you. Number two, you're regarded as like a guy that was great at basketball. And I'm assuming if you're Robert Horry, you're wanting your kid to do well.
Right.
And people are going to know you because they're going to see the last name Horry, and they're going to be like, he looks like his dad, and he plays like him. So now every time they watch the kid play, they're going to think about your dad acting like a buffoon. It's so selfish, and it's so rude to put these kids in a bad position because the dads have to make it about them.
Right.
I'm just saying, it's an embarrassment. They said that he responded with fists, throwing several punches. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, it wasn't like you threw one punch where somebody shoved you. When you throw several and you respond, you got to be the bigger man. I know they're saying, oh, your son's not going to be you, blah, blah, blah. You weren't even that good, but come on.
But can you imagine being the son?
That's what I'm saying. It's embarrassing.
Well, you can't even, the pressure. His dad probably put so much pressure because he was an NBA player.
And people that don't know, Robert Horry had some of the most clutch three-pointers of all time for the Spurs, for the Lakers, for different teams. Whenever there was a moment in the playoffs when there was a three-pointer that was needed, he's just known as the guy who would always get it done. He's not going to go into the Hall of Fame.
He might.
Unless there's like a low draft class, he shouldn't be a first ballot.
He would play for the Rockets, the Lakers, and San Antonio Spurs.
If he goes in, he should be like a 7th ballot. He wasn't that good. Like, he never made all NBA. He was just a guy that scored a lot of points, but he was very clutch. So he's known as the guy that always came in. Imagine that pressure of being his kid. You're like, you miss a 3-pointer to win, and you're like, oh, Dad would have made that in front of everybody in Sacramento in 2002. Here's another example. And this one is one that I'm completely shocked by. This is one that you go, okay, Robert Horry, not the most known NBA player, but known enough. But this is one of the most known names on this planet. It's LeBron James.
LeBron James.
LeBron James calls out other team, don't care about sportsmanship. Come on, LeBron. It all went down at an AAU tournament in Vegas where Bronny's team, I hate when TMZ has that weird way they type their articles. I know they're not the most professional website, but it just sounds so douchey. Bronny. Ugh. And the name of the team is the North Coast Blue Chips. We're taking on the Utah Elite. And LeBron wasn't happy with the way things were going. You can hear him saying, don't care about sportsmanship, but it was unclear why. He then yelled out to the players, get in the ass like a bike without a seat.
What? What does that even mean?
So basically, like, play defense and get in. So, like, pretend you're on a bike, but there's no bike seat.
So he actually said that on the court, like that. He thought that out. Like he said that to a player on the AA League. Was he playing in the AA League, or was his kid playing?
His kid was.
Oh, okay. What? That doesn't make any sense. Why? Think about that cut down. I mean, that's just bizarre.
Get in the ass like a bike without a seat.
Oh, I'd be the dad like, oh, LeBron James. LeBron James!
Looking here, one person said LeBron was cool. There was no problems. Well, I'm sure TMZ was making it out to be something really crazy, and it wasn't the craziest thing. But it's like, come on, man. Like, I know you have nothing to hide. I know that you don't care. You're the most known player on this planet. It's not like incidents like that are going to get you cut from the Cavs. But it's like, dude, be the better man.
He's going to the Lakers.
Speaking of the Cavaliers, my God, Kyrie Irving has to be one of the most entitled top-tier players I have ever seen. And I think this is just in 2017 where we have social media and all these players think they're so great and they are good, but they can't admit that one player's better. Kyrie Irving potentially leaving the Cavs, and there's a report that he didn't talk to any of his teammates for several weeks during the playoffs. Man, who are you? Like, why are you taking yourself so seriously? You have a job that anybody would want, especially players that play basketball and players that are in the NBA or even in the D League. They would love to be in your position.
Right.
These players take it so seriously, and they get so into it, and they don't appreciate it. Irving, listen to me. If you're watching Hoppe Hour and Hoppe TV right now, Kyrie, you're never going to be LeBron James.
Nope.
You're going to go into the Hall of Fame. You're a great player. You were clutch shooting that 3 over Curry. I know that got you a lot of girls over that summer of 2016. I know Cleveland loves you. And I get it. Cleveland's not the nicest city. I get it. It's average. But what I'm saying to you is listen. It's okay to be second tier. You're second tier on a team that goes to the finals every year. You're second tier on one of the best teams in the best basketball association in this whole planet. You're one of the best players in this whole planet. You're never going to be LeBron, but that's okay. Scottie Pippen was never Jordan. In the first years of the Lakers, Kobe was never Shaq. You need the second guy to win it. Embrace it. You're going to make money. You got nice houses. You're literally being a baby by doing this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's not a good look, but I mean, you don't know what's going on in the locker room either. You don't know what it's like playing with LeBron James. And here's my thing about it is I think that he already knew. LeBron ran his mouth and says, "Look, I'm going to L.A. I'm not staying in Cleveland because he got along, didn't get along with Dan Gilbert."
Dan's an idiot, by the way. Dan was critiquing what the Pacers were doing. Listen, bud, focus on what your franchise is doing, Dan Gilbert. He was critiquing what the Pacers got for Paul George when they traded him to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Look at your team. In 3 years, most likely, unless there's a miracle, and a genie comes and you can have 2 wishes, and it's to keep Kyrie and to keep LeBron. Those guys are literally going to leave your team. I thought it was so unprofessional.
They're gone.
When Dan Gilbert was critiquing what the Pacers got for Paul George. And to your point, I mean, what do you think of Dan Gilbert? I think he's ruining his team. I think he can't handle the pressure of having top-tier players. He's the same douchebag we all forget in 2010 when LeBron took his talents to South Beach. Dan Gilbert wrote that whole letter where he's like, we're going to win a championship before LeBron. How did that work off? How did that work out, you jerk off? How did that work out? Yeah. The championship you won was because of the guy you wrote the letter about, you loser.
Exactly. He's got, that's the thing. I don't think he can't. Dan is a fame whore, and he can't take the, he wants a spotlight, and he can't fathom that LeBron or Kyrie Irving has a spotlight more than he does. Well, it's my team. And it has nothing to do with him. You have the money, you pay people. That's pretty much it, Dan Gilbert.
Last thing before we wrap up Hoppe Hour. I'm not going to even get into it. I don't think Kaepernick's a very good quarterback. I think everybody is mad. I do think a part of it is because he kneeled last year. And I think there's so much attention to whatever team Kaepernick joins that I think a part of that is hurting Kaepernick, where people are like, ugh, if we sign him, ESPN's going to be here every day.
Right.
I do think that's one of the reasons why Kaepernick isn't signed. Kaepernick was never that good. Kaepernick was never that great. And now I get people go, but Hoppe, there's so many better quarterbacks that aren't playing right now. Or no, there's so many quarterbacks that are worse than Kaepernick that are playing right now. Why isn't Kaepernick playing? It's the whole idea of having him and having to deal with it and having all the agony and just having to deal with his ego. Listen, I had no problem with him kneeling. I don't get the people that get mad at what professional athletes think. They're dummies. I'm not saying he's a dummy for what he did. I'm just saying overall, it's the whole jock attitude. You're dumb jocks. You're idiots. You're morons. You're paid to throw a ball. It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. You're throwing a ball. I don't know why we take their opinion so seriously. Like when we get mad at Kyrie Irving or Shaq for saying that the road is flat. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? So this whole thing that you're going to protest the NFL and you have 27,000 signatures saying that you're just going to not watch the NFL. Oh, no, that's how many viewers they have minus 27,000. Let's say you get 120 million viewers. Oh, no, you're losing like 1/10,000th of it or even more.
Right.
You're losing nothing. And number two, all these people that are saying, oh, we're never going to watch the NFL again. I promise you, we'll order chicken wings via Uber Eats from Hooters, and they will watch it the 4th week. The first 3 weeks, they'll pretend, but the 4th week, they will be back because they will be at work around the water cooler, and they won't fit in when they won't know what's going on. So shut up with these fake protests. All right, this has been Hoppe Hour, live from the Jeff Adams setup here in beautiful Lakeland, Florida. Get the Hoppe Radio app in the Google Play and iOS shop by searching up Hoppe Radio, HOPPE Radio. I was watching one of my old shows from 5 years ago, and man, I couldn't get a word out.
What's going on here? You having a seizure?
I'm reenacting how I used to talk. I used to have the worst speech impediment, and now it's come so far. I'm just very proud of it.
No, man, you're great. You're fantastic, man. Keep it
Oh,
up.
thank you. I appreciate it, Jeff. It's just crazy when you watch your old work, and you go, man, I've come far.
Yep.
Tweet me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Go to RyanHoppeRadio.com. That wasn't a real speech impediment. Add me on Graham at Ryan Hoppe Radio. And it's annoying, but my Snapchat name is Hoppe Radio. It won't let me change it. All right. Go to tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour 2017. It's tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour 2017. Help me win Best Local Podcast and Best Local Internet Radio Show. Let's make it happen, Tampa, Cleveland, wherever you're listening. And frankly, I don't care if I had a little bit of underpit sweat underneath my armpits. Everybody on the radio was like, oh my God, Hoppe was sweating under his tits. Let's talk about it for 30 minutes on the radio. I don't care. I'm happy being me. This has been Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.